Hola amigos, this is Somveer and welcome to Learning Bots. In the previous video, we have created our Django project, our first application with name app users. We set up our media directory to handle all the images, and finally we created our custom user model by extending the inbuilt user model of Django. Now let's take it one step forward. In this video, we will make forms using both our user model from Django and our custom user model that we extended, and how we can combine them using forms. And finally, we will create register page and login page. So let's see how it's done. This is our model that we created. Now we need to create forms in forms.py in our application. We don't have forms.py, so let's create one file, forms.py. Here we need to import forms from Django and our user model and the user profile model we created. Now we are going to use a feature of Django which is very helpful for user creation. So Django has a user creation form that we can use as per our needs. Let's import that. As we know, first we need to create a user instance, and then we can use our custom built model to give extra information. So first, creating user form using user creation from Django. Using this we can create it. We will give a special email field to the email that is in the user model. We will use class meta, and we will provide the user which is imported from the inbuilt model, and we want fields username, first name, last name, email, password 1 and password 2. So password 1 and password 2 are for password and the confirmation password. There are other fields also. If we want, we can use them. We will just provide labels for password 1 and password 2, so they come out as password and confirm password. After this, we can use our custom built user profile info model that is extended from the user. We can use these lines. So we will provide bio with character field, and we will use these lines to provide choices for our user creation. And we are only providing student and parent as options because we don't want anyone to be registering on the website as a teacher. Only admin can give privilege of being a teacher on the website. So we are giving choices of student and parent to be registering on the website. We will use meta class to provide model of user profile info that we built, and we want bio, profile pic and user type to be the fields we want to show on our website. So with this we are done with our forms. We will get all these fields on our web page. Now let's save this. After this, we need to change our views.py file, and we need to create some templates or HTML file to show our data. And if we check our document for flow of Django that I used in the last video, we can see that after the models we need to create forms, and after that we can create templates, and we can go for between forms, HTML files, views to set up what we actually want. So let's edit views.py. In our views.py file, we will leave the index as it is, and first of all we will create registration page. For that, let's define a function. We will define a function register which will take request. We will use a boolean value registered which will tell us if the user is registered on the website or not. On the website, user will put data and he will press submit. So whenever user presses submit, the request that the website uses is post. So we will see if the request method is post, and we will take user form and profile form, which are basically the forms we just defined. For that, let's import the forms. From appusers.forms we can import our both of forms. Once we get both of our forms, let's see if they are valid or not, and if they are valid, let's save them. We will use these lines to check for the validation. If user form and profile form is valid, meaning the data is correct, then we will just save the user form without doing anything. But in the profile form, as we remember that we have to link it to a user, so we will take the above user and link it with the profile that we are getting here. And once all that is saved, we will make the registered as, which means the user is now registered with us. Now if the forms are not valid, we will print errors which we will get from the forms. So this is used when user is posting something on the website, when user is typing something in the form and submitting it. But if the user is not posting anything, we will just show them the blank forms. and using this we can show that. So as this is a function, it needs to return something. So what we want to return it is, we want to return the forms that are created, and we can do that using this line of codes. It will take on the request and it will render the HTML file or the template file we are giving a path to. Now this dictionary is known as context data. So we are giving some context to the website or the HTML page. We are providing registered to check if the user is registered or not, and we are providing the user form and profile form. Now the user is registered on the website. Now we need to create a login function for the user to login. So on the web page we will be asking user the username and the password, and we will use that to authenticate our user. So defining the function, we can use these line of codes. We will get the username and password from the post request that the user will submit. Now we have username and password. We need to authenticate the user and login if the user is authenticated. So we will use some inbuilt features of Django. We are going to import some libraries. We will import authenticate, login and logout from django.contrib.auth. So coming back to our login function, now we need to authenticate the user. We will use the authenticate library we just imported, and we will give the username and password that we received. Now if the user is authenticated, we will log in the user, otherwise we will raise the error. So we can use these lines. So if user is authenticated, it will be true. So if user, and now we will check if user is active or not. If user is active and he is there on the website, we will log in the user using the authenticate and the request. If the user is logged in, now we want to send the user to the required page we want to show when he is logged in. We will use this reverse function and we will redirect the user to the index. Index is basically the namespace for our home page, which is in the urls.py name is equal to index. This terminology will be used very much in the further videos. So coming back to our views.py, now let's import reverse. From Django URLs we can import reverse. Now we need to import HTTP response redirect also, and that can be imported from django.http. So coming back, so if user is logged in, we will redirect the user to the index page or the home page. Otherwise we will inform the user that the account is deactivated. We did this if the user was authenticated. If user was not authenticated or the username or password was wrong, so we will give the message, please use correct ID or password. So this was done when user is posting something. Otherwise when user is directly visiting, we will give the user template for login. We will see how the templates work in a moment. Before that, let's finally make a function for logout. So we can use these lines. We are using a decorator login required that is given by Django to check if the user is logged in or not. Let's import the decorator. Going on the top, we can import the decorator from Django contrib auth decorators. Coming back, as we have already imported logout, we can use the logout function to log out the user. Similar to login, if the user is logged out successfully, we will redirect him on the home page. So finally, before going from views.py, let's make a small change to index. Instead of giving just a small message, we want it to show a template. We will use the render function to show the template we want to show. It will look something like this. So it will just show the home.html from the templates. We are talking about templates, but we have not worked on templates yet. So it will all be clear in a moment. Finally, we are done with the views.py. Now let's see how to create templates and how to use them. For that, just like media directory, we need to create a templates directory under our main directory, that is teaching blog. Making a new folder, templates. After creating the directory templates, we need to register it in our project. So we need to go to settings, and near the base directory we can create one template dir, which will just join the directory of base directory and templates. Here we are trying to tell Django that whenever we say templates, you directly go to the directory and search for it. So once it is done, let's copy this, scroll down, and in templates we can see dirs. So here we can paste our directory. So once we save the templates dir in the templates list, if we go back on views.py and we see that we have home.html, and in register we have app users/registration.html. So let's create our templates for the login, registration and home. We go to templates, we create a new file, home.html. So in our home.html we will write a simple code. So we will use a little bit of Bootstrap and we will link the style sheet from Bootstrap on the top. We are not getting into detail in Bootstrap, which we will get into a later video. We will provide some links that will behave as a navigation bar. We will provide a heading, this is homepage. Here we will be using some template tagging from Django. So this block and end block, it will behave as a block of code where some content can be placed on another HTML file when we extend this home.html. So let's save this. Now let's go to our app users and create a directory with the name templates. Under templates, it's always conventional to make a directory with the name of application. Let's make a directory of app users. Under this app users, we will make our HTML files or the templates. Here we have login and registration under app users I just created. If we go to login.html, I have extended the home.html using template tagging from Django, and it will contain all the code from home.html, and additionally I am putting this form inside the content block we just saw on the home.html. So I am putting a form with the method of post, and we are using a CSRF token so that our form is successfully presented on the web and we can use it in our application. We will provide two input fields, username and password, and we will give a submit button. This is all in our login page. So if we go to registration.html, so first of all we will check if the user has completed the registration process. If user completed registration, we will show thank you for registering, or else we will ask the user to fill the form. We will use CRS token to take care of forms, and we will use user form and profile form which we sent as a context to our HTML page. Basically it will print out all the fields we needed to print, and at the end we will give a submit button. With this our registration page is completed. Now to connect all of this together, we need to provide URLs or path to these functions and HTML files in our urls.py. Let's go to urls.py. In urls.py, we will provide path to our registration, logout and login. We can use these line of codes. We will give a path of register, which will take views.register, and we will give a name of register. Same with the user login, we are giving function of user login and we are calling it user login again. We will give a path of user logout, and the function is again user logout, and the name is also user logout. Before running the application, let's go to home.html and give the link to our names. Coming back to our home.html, we have provided some anchor tags which will take us to the individual pages such as index or user login. So here we are using template tagging of Django, and we are providing URLs, and the name we are using here is the namespace we are providing in the urls.py. For example, for login page in urls.py, I am using the name user login. So in our home.html, if I want to redirect a link to user login, I will use this type of template tagging so that my anchor tag will redirect me to user login page. We did this with register, logout and home also. One thing to note here is user logout doesn't need any HTML page of its own because we are just logging out of the system. So we have made forms, we have modified our views.py, we have used templates. Now let's see how it will behave. If we run our server and putting in browser, we can see that our home page is coming as this is home page, and we have home, login, register and logout. So let's try to see our login page. Here we can see we are taking username and password, and let's see how register behaves. If we see register, it is the very basic form that Django provides in the HTML form. So we have username, first name, last name, email, password, password confirmation. Here we have bio, profile pic and user type. In user type, if we see, we only have student and parent, which we wanted. Let's try to register. Let's say I want to register as user 2, first name user, second name 2, email user2@gmail.com, password let's say test password, bio and cool. We are leaving profile pic for now, and let's register this as a parent. If we register here, it will give us the message thank you for registering. And if we log in here, we can use user2 we just created with test password. We are coming on the home page, which is the intended behavior. Let's go to any page and check out how the logout is working. If we just go to the register and tap on logout, it will redirect to the home page, which is also the intended behavior. And lastly, we will check our admin page. If we go to admin, if we log in as admin, let's see if we have added our user2 in our profiles. We can see here we have user2 and it is having all the information. But there is still one thing that I want to change in our website. If we check our website, we can see that logout is always available, but we want it to show when user is logged in. So let's see how we can do it. If we go to home.html, so on our home.html, I will modify it a little using template tagging. So what I changed here is I am using if condition to check if user is authenticated, which means if user is logged in or not. So if user is logged in, I want to show logout, else if user is not logged in, I want to show the user login button. And if we check on the website, let's go to the browser, we can see that only login is available. If we log in, let's use admin only, we can see that we have logout button now. If we log out, we can see login. With this, I conclude today's video where we have created custom forms for our extended user model. We got to know how to use templates. We got to see some unique features of Django in templates in HTML files like template tagging and inserting some context into the HTML file. With this, we have completed the user side of the website. Means we can register parents and students from the website, and we can take help of admin to register someone as a teacher, and we can log in on our website. So from the next video, we will try to get into another application where our curriculum of the school will be shown. If the video was informational, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Let me know in the comment section what was cool about it and what else can be improved. We will meet with a new video. This is Somveer taking your leave until next time. Adios.